In April 2020, something out of this world happened. The Pentagon finally declassified 3 military videos, confirming that they do indeed show unexplained aerial phenomena, claiming they wanted to clear up any misconceptions by the public on whether or not the footage that has been circulating for years was real, and now we know that it is. By admitting this, they have confirmed what many of us already knew. UFOs do exist. We are going to look at why this is a huge deal, not just for the UFO community, but for the whole of society, and question why at a time when the world is focused on surviving coronavirus, the Pentagon finally decided to admit the footage was real. The Nimitz incident is probably the most compelling UFO case to emerge in recent history, with even the often tight-lipped US military admitting they didn't know what their pilots were chasing during a training mission in 2004. For those unfamiliar, here is a quick bit of background. The incident began after an American warship, the USS Princeton, while participating in naval exercises with the aircraft carrier USS Nimitz, detected an object on their radar that appeared to be monitoring their operations. 2 FA-18F Super Hornets were launched to investigate the object, one of them piloted by Commander David Fravor of the US Navy. A video of the incident was initially shared by the crew of the ship and first posted online in 2007. However, the full fascinating details did not emerge until 2017, 10 years later, when Commander David Fravor and Lieutenant Commander Jim Slate, the 2 pilots who witnessed the phenomena, gave an interview. This is their account of what happened. The pair were on a routine training mission 100 miles out into the Pacific when the radio in each of their Super Hornets crackled, and an operations officer aboard the USS Princeton asked if they were carrying weapons. Fravor confirmed they were only carrying dummy missiles, something that is standard during training exercises. The radio operator then told him that for the past 2 weeks, the Princeton had been tracking mysterious aircraft. The objects had appeared suddenly at 80,000 feet and then hurtled towards the sea, eventually stopping at around 50 feet above the water level and hovering. Then they either dropped out of radar range or shot straight back up. The operator then instructed Commander Fravor and Lieutenant Commander Slate to investigate. The 2 fighter planes headed towards the objects, and the Princeton alerted them as they closed in. But when they arrived at Merge Plot, neither Commander Fravor nor Commander Slate could see anything, and there was nothing on their radars either. Commander Fravor then looked down to the sea and could see the waves breaking over something that was just below the surface. Whatever it was big enough to cause the sea to churn. He described it as an oval aircraft of some kind, white in colour and around 40 feet long. The craft was bouncing around erratically, hovering over disturbances in the water, not moving in any specific direction. He described the water as looking like frothy waves and foam, as if it was boiling. Commander Fravor began a circular descent to get a closer look, but as he got nearer, the object began moving towards him. He intensified his descent and proceeded to engage with the object instead, but the object quickly moved away. He said it accelerated like nothing he'd ever seen. The 2 fighter jets then conferred with the operators with the operations office on the Princeton and were told to head to a rendezvous point 60 miles away. They were en route and closing in when the Princeton radioed again. Radar had picked up the strange aircraft and was now at their rendezvous point that was still at least 40 miles away from where they were. It was a mystery how it instantly got to the exact place Commander Fravor was heading for. Here he describes what happened during an interview he gave to our good friend Jeremy Corbell.
So we're descending and we get to about the 12 o'clock, it goes whoop, just like this and starts coming up.
Reacting to you.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I'm like, woo, all right. So we keep coming down and it keeps coming up. And we go all the way around the circle until I get over to about the 8 o'clock position. By now, I'm probably around, estimate, this is a recall from almost 15 years ago, I'm probably about 15,000 feet. And the object is somewhere around probably 12,000 feet. So I'm getting closer. And it's about a mile across. So we're in a circle, we're just driving around. Everyone did that as kids, you know, keep running around the circle. And you'll do it all day long until they tire themselves out. There's always that kid that cheats. So what do? Cut across the circle. So I go like this. I drop my nose. It's called an aggressive nose-low maneuver, and I go across. So I'm going, instead of around, I'm going around this way. And I'm thinking, so it's here, and I'm gonna try and cut over and get it. So I start pulling across the circle. It's coming up, gets in front of my nose. You see it start to accelerate, and it goes poof, and it's gone. So then you go, all right. I was kind of weirded out. I actually told my backseater, I go, woo. I asked the plane up above us, I said, hey, do you see it? And they said, no, it just disappeared. I'm like, okay. I'm a little bit weirded out. So we turn around. I said, well, let's turn around. Let's go see what was causing the water to turn white. So we turn around. So we're right there. It's not. It's gone. There's no white water, no tic-tac, no nothing. So we turn back around, and the whole time we're talking to the cruiser, and I'll fill in some of the details here in a sec. So we turn around, and I'm like, well, because I'm the boss, okay, we got to go get some training, right? So let's go. So we start flying back to our cap point, which is about 60 miles away, and the controller comes up and says, sir, you're not going to believe this. I said, what? He said, that thing, it's at your cap point, just hanging out, 20,000 feet. So I'm like, okay. So we get up, we drive, we never see it. We never see it on radar. Never saw it on radar ever. Only saw it visually. We do a couple intercepts. We come back to the Nimitz and land. Strangest day of my entire life.
By the time the two fighter jets arrived, the object had disappeared, and the fighter jets returned to the Nimitz, where everyone had now heard about the encounter. Commander Fravor's superiors did not investigate further, and he went on with his career, deploying to the Persian Gulf to provide air support to ground troops during the Iraq War. Fravor has conducted a small number of interviews with select media outlets and spoke at a convention, but it's worth pointing out he has never sought attention or recognition regarding the incident.
We don't know I know where the tapes. So I took the original tapes and I copied them and they go in the safe. And then we came back, we went on cruise, that stuff goes back and forth. Somewhere between now and this thing breaking, those tapes just vanished. Most likely someone opened up, found two 8mm tapes and said, hey, we can reuse these things, slapped stickers on them and slammed them in an airplane and taped over whatever we had. The radar tapes from the USS Princeton, those were supposed to be pulled and archived. There's rumors that, they pulled into port and some guys in suits came and took it off. I will say this, I'm doubtful. I'm skeptical. I could probably track down the CO, who I know, and ask him, because if anyone's going to come on board the boat and take something off that ship, captain has to approve it.
Of course, revelations like this typically point to a cover-up. So it's curious that while the radar tapes are missing, the US Navy was willing to release the video recorded by the FA-18s of the incident. We can only speculate about what has happened to these radar recordings and why they have not also been released. Let's first look at the incredible footage captured that day. It's worth pointing out that this video was recorded by US Navy Airman Chad Underwood, who was also the man, along with Commander Fravor, who came up with the name Tic Tac. The footage was recorded from the infrared camera on the left wing of his FA-18 Super Hornet. Underwood has only spoken about the incident in the last couple of years. The infrared recording was made an hour after Fravor and Slade spotted the object. On the second flight, Underwood was told by his then commander Fravor to be on the lookout for something weird. During his flight, Underwood encountered the same object as Fravor and Slade, and once he was able to acquire it on his radar. This was the footage he captured. Almost daily from the summer of 2014 to March 2015, in the skies over the East Coast, seasoned US Navy pilots experienced disturbing encounters with UFOs during training missions. While pilots were mid-flight, their aircraft cameras and radar detected seemingly impossible objects flying at hypersonic speeds at altitudes up to 30,000 feet. These mysterious UFOs did so with no visible means of propulsion. At the time, pilots who spotted the UFOs speculated amongst themselves that the unnerving objects might have belonged to a highly classified drone program using unknown technology, and they did not consider them to be extraterrestrial in origin. However, in late 2014, a Super Hornet pilot had a near collision with one of the objects, and an official mishap report was filed. But despite no further action being taken, pilots started to fear for their safety. The sightings were also reported to the Pentagon's little-known Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, which analysed the radar data, video footage, and accounts provided by senior officers from the Roosevelt. Two of the pilots, Lieutenant Graves and Lieutenant Danny Acoin, went on to give interviews about the objects, along with 3 other pilots in the squadron who declined to be named. Lieutenant Ryan Graves, an FA-18 Super Hornet pilot, said that in the summer of 2014, he and fellow pilot Lieutenant Danny Acoin were part of the VFA-11 Red Rippers squadron out of Naval Air Station Oceana, Virginia, that was training for a deployment to the Persian Gulf. The pilots began noticing the strange objects after their 1980s era radar was upgraded to a more advanced system, but at first ignored them, believing they were false radar tracks. Lieutenant Acoin also confirmed he had interacted twice with the objects. The first time after picking up the object on his radar. He set his plane to merge with it, flying 1,000 feet below it. He said he should have been able to see it with his helmet camera, but could not, even though his radar told him it was there. Then a few days later, a training missile on his jet locked on the object, and his infrared camera picked it up as well. I knew I had it, I knew it was not a false hit, he said, but still, I could not pick it up visually. At this point, the pilots speculated that the objects were part of some classified and extremely advanced drone program. But in late 2014, one of the pilots nearly had a collision with one of the objects. The pilot and his wingman were flying in tandem about 100 feet apart over the Atlantic east of Virginia Beach when something flew between them right past the cockpit. It looked like a sphere encasing a cube. The incident alarmed the pilots so much that an aviation flight safety report was filed. The near miss angered the squadron and convinced them that the objects were not part of a classified drone program, as government officials would know fighter pilots were training in the area and would not send drones to get in their way. They felt it was now a safety issue. What was strange was that the video footage the pilots later reviewed showed objects accelerating to hypersonic speed, making sudden stops and instantaneous turns, something far beyond the physical limits of a human crew. Although when asked what they thought the objects were, the pilots refused to speculate. Although, in March 2015, the Roosevelt left the coast of Florida and headed to the Persian Gulf as part of the American-led mission fighting the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. The same pilots who were interacting with the strange objects off the East Coast were soon doing bombing missions over Iraq and Syria. The pilots said the incidents tapered off after they left the United States, while in 2017, a video of the encounter was released by the US Department of Defense in conjunction with the New York Times. The footage was also shared by the Stars Academy of Arts and Science, a company co-founded by Blink-182 guitarist and now ufologist Tom DeLonge. These are the 2 videos of the incident that the Pentagon has now declassified that became known as the Fast One and the Gimbal. This is extraordinary stuff, and although we have already seen all 3 videos before, to now have the Pentagon declassify them and admit they do not know what the craft are, has given hope to those who believe there is a massive cover-up by governments regarding UFOs and extraterrestrial visitations. Although there is still a bit of skepticism about the official explanation that the DoD were forced to admit the UFO footage is real, as they more or less admitted that back in 2017, and we have it on good authority that George Knapp already provided proof of an authorized official release a long time ago. So to those in the know, such as respected reporters like George Knapp, filmmaker Jeremy Corbell, and influential podcasters like Joe Rogan, this announcement is no surprise, and just validates what they have known for years. So what have we learned about the UFOs from these declassified videos? Well, it seems they are advanced craft of unknown origin with unknown pilots, either remote or physical. They are trans-medium aerospace vehicles that have the ability to outpace, outmaneuver, and outperform even our most advanced fighter jets. There is a possibility they are under intelligent control and able to utilize cloaking and tracking mechanisms and implement tactical avoidance through decryption, and they do so in ways that are incomprehensible to us, operating with our most cutting-edge warfare technology. It is also entirely possible that these UFOs can disable our optics and weapon systems, as well as display the capability to systematically shut down or turn on our nuclear weapons. This is concerning and a possible threat to national security. So with that in mind, it is essential that scientists, governments, and the military analyze such events and take them very seriously before it's too late. Another point is that these craft appear to operate via gravitational propulsion, something that much maligned Bob Lazar described when he claimed he witnessed and worked on extraterrestrial technology at a secret site called S4, close to the United States Air Force facility known as Area 51. There is no doubt that this news is huge for those who strongly believe that the government is withholding hordes of information on other sightings and incidents. From our point of view, we hope this declassification is at least the start of various governments being more transparent about UFOs or extraterrestrial visitations, so that eventually we can finally get to the truth about what we suspect has been happening for a very long time. We guess the timing of the declassification meant it got pushed to the back of the news at a time when there are much more important things going on with our fight against COVID-19. A calculated move by the government, perhaps, but nevertheless a step in the right direction to finding out what really is out there, because there really is something. We will close with a telling quote, or a tweet shall we say, from Senator Harry Reid, a man that during his time as United States Senator from Nevada between 1987 and 2017 was responsible for initiating a classified US government program called Advanced Aerospace Weapons Systems Applications Program, AAWSAP, and later Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, AATIP, to study unexplained aerial phenomena. And over the years, Reid has been instrumental in getting the UFO topic studied by the military and scientific communities. This is what he had to say on the declassified videos. I'm glad the Pentagon is finally releasing this footage, but it only scratches the surface of research and materials available. The US needs to take a serious scientific look at this and any potential national security implications. The American people deserve to be informed.